Pittsburgh. The 6 seed once again went to play Cincy. The 3 seed once again. Deja video, that feeling you get when history repeats itself. No Andy Dalton for this wild card battle. And of course, it would be Big Ben leading the way as Jordan Todman runs left, picks up a first down, and then gets shoved out of bounds by Reggie Nelson. And there you see Mike Munchak, the assistant coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They get into it on the sidelines, some pushing and shoving. And of course, Munchak got called for the penalty there. All kinds of stuff. Call that an omen, a portend, if you will, of things to come. Next, Bengals possession. You see the rain. It was a factor all night long. A.J. McCarron on a 3rd and 12. Completely underthrown. It's picked up by Antoine Blake. A.J. McCarron only has 3 interceptions in his NFL career. All have come against the Pittsburgh Steelers at home in Cincinnati. Another interception there, his 3rd. Obviously, the rain, a huge factor. So the Steelers take over. It's 2nd and 25 after a penalty. And Antonio Brown, you bet, what can Brown do for you? They still didn't get a first down, though, because it was a 25 yards that they needed. Okay, they got a field goal there to go 3-0. Late in the first half, Marcus Wheaton over the middle takes a huge shot, and here comes the flag. And it's a roughing penalty. Right, Paul? No, okay, Jeff disagrees. Okay, Steelers led 6-0 at the half. 3rd quarter, Bengals down 6-0. McCarron back to pass, and the ball comes right out of his hand. Now, Cam Thomas, get in my belly, and he gets it, and the ball comes loose, and William Gay, who had a pick 6 against A.J. McCarron the last time they met in December, goes in for what appears to be an apparent touchdown, and once again, to be consistent, gets a 2nd straight excessive penalty celebration on the touchdown. It's just not smart, but hold on. As you see, the ball was ruled out, and that's true. However, Cam Thomas was down by contact, so the touchdown is no good. On the ensuing Steelers possession, it is Martavis Bryant getting around the end on the corner, comes back the other way, chasing, trying to cut down. Eventually, Drake Kirkpatrick would bring him out 49 yards on the run. What great blocking here.
Great design right there. Castro's leading it, catches the edge, everybody logs around. Nice cut, sets it up, waits for the cutback, and then everybody's gone. Now he's just turning the wheels, turn that speed on.
And that led to another field goal to make it 9-0. So later in the 3rd, Roethlisberger hits Brown over the middle, and this is what Antonio Brown has done all season long. Rambles, weaves, cuts. We thought he might go in this one. George Iloka makes the tackle inside the 10 for a 60-yard gain. And that kid's set up what can be described as, sorry Gary Barnage, the greatest butt catch in NFL history. Martavis Bryant was told to make plays and get tough this week by Ben Roethlisberger. Does that qualify?
Unbelievable.
There's what Ben had to say. He needs to understand, talking about Bryant, at this time of the year, you have to toughen up, make tough plays, you have to make tough catches, and you have to find ways to do everything you can to help this team win. Martavis, I hear you, he says, checked all the boxes, Ben Roethlisberger. Tough catch, check. Tough play, check. It's all good. Meanwhile, under 2 minutes to go, A.J. McCarron throwing it, and this is a crushing hit by Ryan Shazier on Gio Bernard. Now, you take a look. They didn't call Ryan Shazier for unnecessary roughness, but Rule 12, Section 2, Article 6, using any part of the helmet to butt, spear, or ram an opponent violently or unnecessarily is a personal foul. Do you guys think that was a personal foul?
I thought it was a personal foul.
Merrill?
Not a question. That's the kind of stuff we're trying to get out of the league and is a deliberate act. Got to get rid of it.
Okay, so they did not call it. And on this play, Ben Roethlisberger sacked by Vontaze Burfict, and Roethlisberger is hurt. As you take a look at the replay, Roethlisberger lands on his throwing arm, and this was a legal play by Vontaze Burfict. Roethlisberger would leave the game and go into the car. So that was the setup for the first 3 quarters of the game. At that point, what did you think about how the game had been played, and how concerned were you about the chippiness, which had been a memo that the league had sent to both teams saying, guys, we need to keep that under control?
Yeah, as you looked at it, I thought that the Pittsburgh Steelers really controlled the offense and defensive line of scrimmage, and they were really hammering around. You saw the tempo, the feel, and then when Burfict takes Roethlisberger to the ground, it felt like the wind just went out of their sails. Everything changed in that one moment. You see him getting taken off the court, taken off the field. You felt like the energy went all the way to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, football is a tough game for tough people.
Yeah.
And it's a smart game for smart people. And the Bengals are going to go look at this one, and some of their best players do not play smart.
Right.
And, let's back up just a little bit, too, on the penalties that we saw there. When you see those bang-bang plays, think of the officials. They look at that thing, and it happens in a split second. We get on TV, we rewind it, we look at it really close, we're like, yeah, it probably wasn't the right hit. I mean, the guy led with his shoulder. It wasn't up around the head. It was more around the shoulder.
Right.
However, it happened so fast, it goes a penalty. Now, we'll go to the Shazier one. That's the stuff that is clearly something that you can see.
And Shazier's hurting himself with that. I mean, he could have easily hurt his own neck on that.
That is a perfect point. And that's why in the game of football, I don't care what level we're talking about, that is the one thing that you control as a tackler and even a runner. The helmet and the head is not a weapon. Don't let it be used as a weapon. And when you see that type of thing, that's where the officials really have to be sharp with that. That's the ones that need to be penalties, and those are not difficult to see.
No.
Those are the ones we got to get out of.
You see him dropping on his way in.
Yeah, Rule 12, Section 2, Article 6, subclause or subparagraph I. That's what it is in the rule book. So that was the setup through 3 quarters, which we thought was a pretty good game until they played the 4th quarter, and it just got better. It's 15-0 at this point. A.J. McCarron is trying to make a play any way he can, and A.J. McCarron makes a play any way he can, except that one is broken up. Jeremiah Green couldn't get it, so of course there was a flag, and that set up Jeremy Hill going in for the score, and just like that, because the Steelers went for a 2-point conversion and didn't get it, that made it 15-7. They got a field goal to make it 15-10, and then McCarron over the middle to Marvin Jones, hard hit by there, but he picks it up. Now it's 3rd and 7. It's still 15-10, as you see, under 2 minutes to play. A.J. McCarron, and what a catch for A.J. Green, his first ever postseason touchdown, and A.J. McCarron is fired up. Cincinnati takes the lead. What a play, Merrill, and what a catch.
Well, I cannot believe Mike Mitchell's playing so deep. His alignment is confusing. You can't be 5 yards deep in the end zone and leave that much space. Bengals took advantage.
Okay, remember, Landry Jones is in now because Ben went out, and on his first throw, of course, it's Vontez Perfect. The agitator for the Steelers coming up with the interception. Mike Tomlin can't believe it. Hold on to the ball, run out the clock, and Cincinnati, you win. But wait a minute! Ryan Shazier with an unbelievable defensive play, stripping the ball away from Jeremy Hill, and eventually the Steelers come up to it. They reviewed it. As you see, Jeremy Hill basically saying, my goodness, that should have been a down by contact. Clearly it was not. They got it right on the field. The call stood. And here comes Ben Roethlisberger back in with 3 timeouts. Hits Fitzgerald Toussaint, the second best French name in running back history for the Steelers, behind only Frenchie Fuqua. Here's the play of the game. It's 4th and 3, and Antonio Brown gets away from Leon Hall, spins it around, picks up a huge first down.
Right there,
the drive stays alive. And now Ben needing a big play, looking for Antonio Brown. And there you see the hit that Merrill was alluding to. And of course, who is it? Vontez Perfect. A defenseless receiver goes up high, and Perfect, as you can see, hits with his shoulder, but hits Antonio Brown in the head. And Jeff, you said it as soon as you saw it, he was out right there.
He's unconscious. I mean, there's no reason to do it. You can pull up. He's got 2 or 3 steps to avoid that contact. There was no reason. The ball was clearly overthrown.
So then it gets really worse. There's a penalty there, and then on the ensuing scrum, after that one, trying to debate that one, there's another penalty on Pac-Man Jones for another 15 yards. They gave him 30 free yards, and with 16 seconds left, Chris Boswell does it again, puts it through the uprights. 18-16 is your final score. In the most improbable, impossible way, the Steelers find a way to come back, and the Cincinnati Bengals lose their 8th straight postseason game. Just moments ago, Bengals head coach Marvin Lewis.
Man, obviously we're really fortunate to win that. Man, it's a rough and tumble game by 2 competitive teams, very familiar with one another. The ebb and flow was ridiculous. I thought we had it on our side there in the first half and thought they gained momentum in the second, and we made just enough plays to pull it out. Wasn't a perfect game by any stretch in terms of execution and penalties and so forth, but such is life. We'll take this victory, man, and move forward. We feel very fortunate to have gotten it. In a hostile environment versus a good team, we tip our cap to those guys. Thought we both represented the AFC North and what the AFC North is about tonight. We had some injuries, obviously. Antonio's got a concussion. Ben's got a shoulder. He was able to go back in the game. I don't know how far he was able to throw the ball. That's why that last drive looked the way it looked in terms of wasn't very fluid. He didn't throw many balls down the field, but he was good enough. We appreciate his efforts. 46 had a hamstring, 21 had a shoulder. We got to work quick. We going into another hostile environment. We respect it. We respect all this stuff. That's January ball. We're not a perfect group, but we do enough to move on, and hopefully that can be said again next week. Next week. Questions?